What's going on, people, and welcome to a brand new episode of Too Many Games and Not Enough Time, where I get to speak to incredible gamers across the globe. Now, once again, thank you for all of the love on the channel. Remember, if you're preing us on any of those podcast services, Spotify, iTunes, any of them thing there, make sure you give man the 5 stars. You get me? Give man the ratings. Come over to YouTube and give us a thumbs up. And I definitely want you to come over to YouTube today because I have someone extra special on the podcast. I'm talking a host, a streamer, a podcaster. We are talking an eSports personality. You get me? The creator of the Hidden Code, champion for diversity, and my sis, the one and only REDInFamy in the building.
What's good, bro?
What is going on? Welcome to the pod.
I am excited. That intro was phenomenal, y'all. I feel like I'm about to get in the ring and everything and get ready.
Do you know what? It's mad because I've been gassed about trying to get you on the pod for a long time. Because really quickly, I just want to tell people how we met. Now, I've been in the gaming industry for 6 years, and I came into the space very similar to you because we weren't being represented and we weren't being heard. So we're going to make sure we put our foot in there, put our voice in there to make sure that things happen. And one of the really interesting things was I went to E3. It was the last proper sick E3, 2019. It was the PlayStation's last E3, like proper sick. And when I used to go anywhere, especially in the UK, and I'd see other black people in the room, I'd go and talk to them because I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I need to know who you are to make it connect. And I met Khalif Adams like that. I met you like that. And literally, I was just some black you came over to you at E3 and you must have been like, who's this brother? But we made a connection and I'm super, super proud of everything that you're doing. So just want to dash your flowers at you really quick.
I'm gonna have to throw them back too because I'm ultra proud of you, period, of everything you're doing and everything you're doing currently and before. So
well, I'm humbled and thank you. But let's talk about some video games, yeah?
Let's do it.
So you've been a gamer since you was proper young, like your family got you into gaming. One thing that's really interesting to me is I'm a big JRPG guy. I didn't realize that Xenogears was your thing.
Yes, that's what. Yes, that's like that's what got me into JRPGs is Xenogears. Like I had to recently get it on my phone, like so I could play it again. But yeah, like that really got me into it, and it was the story structure. You know, even though it was turn based, it's just the story of it, and it just made me immerse. Rather than always playing like platformers where you got to get through the level and so forth. This one actually kind of made me get into wanting a story.
Yeah, well, I don't want you to box me or dash your shoe at me, but do you know I've never played Xenogears? And you know me, I'm a big RPG guy. And that is one of there's a few that are like lost from my catalog, like Xenogears, there's a couple that I missed, and like the Wild Arms series and stuff like that I missed. So what is it about this other than obviously the story and stuff? What is it about this? Because Xenogears fans love these series like nothing.
I think it's like during the time, like when PlayStation 1 gave us so many kind of games that revolved around story. This one even had like a religious kind of theme to it as well. And yeah, it has the cliche that, oh, you got to go save the city of some sort and a person. But I feel Xenogears is one of those games that's relatable, similar to how people talk about Final Fantasy VII, how that really got them immersed into a storyline. And also you get attached to these different characters. So that's why I think why Xenogears is at that #1 top. You of course Chrono Trigger and other Final Fantasy games as well too. I think PlayStation 1 really introduced a generation that we are a part of right now that now appreciates single player games. So that's why.
I love it. And the reason why I really love it is because obviously, like when it comes to black people in marketing, they only market us shooters and fighting games. Like those are the only games we love. And yes, we like, I love me some Apex, I love me some Street Fighter, I know you love you some Mortal Kombat. You see the Scorpion
Oh,
and Sub-Zero
indeed.
in the
I see
background.
it.
Yeah, I know you love them. And those games are great, but we've been playing these long, strong narrative games from, we didn't even want to read them time there. When we were playing these games, we weren't even, like reading weren't even our thing, but we was reading.
It became it.
Yeah, because there weren't no voice acting. So it's really dope. Like I love to talk to different people about how these kind of games affected them. Now, I know that you've been gaming from you was proper young, and it was something really kind of family orientated. For the people who don't know you, this is their first introduction.
Right.
Tell people about your journey getting into video games.
Yeah, my journey was kind of funny. I was little, like a toddler. I would say like 3, and my father would play video games like in front of me. You know, that was his pastime. Still is his pastime to this day. And he was playing Golden Axe, and he was playing on the Master System. And I wanted to play. You know, you want to see what your dad is doing. You want to do what your dad does. And he gave me the controller, and I'm like, I'm looking around like, okay, I know I went this way and that way, but that's not happening on the screen. And I look at it and I see that his controller's plugged up, but mine isn't. So I was like, wait a minute, I want to play. And he was like, you know, wow, like you really are paying attention at this age. So that's how I got into gaming. Like I was seeing and was watching him, and I wanted to be a part of it. I seen he was having fun. I want to have fun too with you. So that's kind of like how I got into gaming. How it stuck though, because a lot of people say they got into gaming when they were little, but especially for young girls growing into adulthood, there's actually statistics that a lot of young women fall off of gaming around like adolescent age because they're told, oh, that's for boys and all kind of stuff. What stuck is because, of course, my family, my mom, you know, getting me the games that she could get for me, because games have always been expensive. That's what this generation doesn't know. Always been $70, $60, $70, $80, $90. But I kept going because I had cousins that would play video games. My god sister, we would play Golden Eye. So I always had, you know, from a male and a female perspective of playing video games all the way up into my adulthood. So that's what kind of kept me in gaming. And it always brought a close relationship. Like even in college, one of my sisters in college, we had like a Halo 2 competition against like another dorm. Like, so it always stuck with me, always kept with me. And I never knew that would become a career. So that's what I'm blessed to have that as. That's how my gaming journey started, from young as a toddler all the way up into adulthood.
So you got me grinning bare teeth, because the thing that I love is I love how much these are all part of our family histories. Like I've never spoken to anyone on the podcast and find out how they got into gaming and it wasn't connected to some kind of family, whether it be mom, dad, brother, sisters, uncles. Like our family has always kind of taken us on these journeys with them.
Yep.
And that's super dope. Talking about journeys, now you have had such a dope journey in this industry. Like I was hitting off your CV at first, and you do some great things, and like I said, like you're a huge champion for diversity, huge champion for women in the space, but you're actually one of the few people who actually even come from the whole journalistic point of view. So I know like a lot of the new kids and stuff, they've joined the gaming just kind of on a streaming scale, and actually writing about games is a whole new journey. So how have you found going from being a little one playing games to then discovering this is something that you want to do in your life, going down the journalistic road to now that you stream, you host, you run podcasts, you do bare things, innit?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I just love hearing you talk. But anyway, I love the UK scene. But yeah, from a journalistic side, it gave a new lens because of course I'm a gamer first before I became a journalist. But I never knew I would become a journalist in this space. Like I come from a marketing background, and even before I wanted to be in marketing, I wanted to be an engineer. Like it was always science and tech. So I love that I was able to come to full circle and get back into something dealing with STEAM. So science, technology, engineering, and math and everything else. With video games, how I got into the space to be a journalist is that I got discovered actually through Twitter.
Oh.
So I would speak on video games when Twitter first came around. I was talking about video games, sports, just all my passions that I'm really into, whether with sneakers, anything of that nature. And an editor from a huge periodical that's famous in the States was like, you know, shouts out to REDInFamy. She's a dope Black woman that knows what she's talking about video games. Shouts out to Slim Samuels. He's the one that gave me my big professional break. And about like a week or so later or two, he slid in my DMs in a positive way and said, hey, you know, would you like to write for Black Enterprise and add gaming to it? And I was like, what? Like, hell yeah, would love to do that. And he didn't ask me for any writing samples, which I thought was really interesting. And it's always interesting when I tell a story because back then it was just 140 characters to kind of get what you want to express about something. And I guess he was like, you're able to articulate that in a short form. What can you do in a more vast form to articulate yourself with video games? And I thought it was amazing because Black Enterprise, yeah, Black Enterprise. I was like, yo,
that's unheard of. Someone like, I want you to write, but I ain't seen your writing.
Yeah, like I was amazed, and it's such a blessing. So there is positivity to social media if you take advantage of it.
Yeah, that is super, super dope. I read, so talking about some more games, we are both like big PlayStation gamers, like through the journeys, and there's been certain titles in the PlayStation Amphion that's super important. So there's one that we share that we both super love, which is Uncharted. So we're gonna talk about Uncharted, but I want you to give me another one as well. So I want you to tell me what it is about Uncharted that you love, and another PlayStation exclusive that means a lot to you and why.
Amy Hennig. Amy Hennig is a fantastic writer, and this just like I was saying about Xenogears story. So I pay close attention to stories. I love how Uncharted is a video game, but it took a nuance to Indiana Jones. Like it gave us something totally different that we can actually interact with. And I love how she does the storyline, but the cinematics and playing through the cinematography is like playing through a movie, but it's action towards it. And he also makes sure that the voice actors act out the roles mocap wise. And I thought that was incredible for anybody that doesn't know. So just playing through it. Uncharted 2 is like my favorite of the Uncharted series, period. But that's why I love Uncharted, from the writing to the gameplay to the characters that's involved, the lighthearted, humor that's in there as well. And to answer your question on a second one is something new. Ghost of Tsushima, same thing. Ghost of Tsushima is another title that's become like a top tier now, like for real, out of PlayStation's exclusive titles that they have.
So I love Uncharted, and it's for that same reason. So when Uncharted came out, I was still very heavily in my music career. At that point, I never even thought I'd work in gaming. And every like Christmas and every birthday, like I would take 2 weeks off just to game, because that would be my time. I'd just bang out games. And I remember I can't remember if I looked in a magazine or online, but I saw this Uncharted game. And when I played it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the first game that actually feels like an action movie. Like I've played so many games that have tried it, but none of that, like every scene in that feels like an action movie. And you're like, it's incredible. But not only does it feel like an action movie with these big set pieces.
Yes.
The voice acting is sick and the character interacting is sick. And I'm like, raw, like how have I never heard this series? Now, what's really weird, Red, is 2 was always my favorite, right? I was always like 2, champion for 2. And then when I played the Uncharted Legacy Collection, playing them back to back, 3 is now my favorite.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was a 2 favorite for years.
I'm a 2 favorite. And I never played the first one. I played like a demo of it.
Yeah,
I never played the first one. Yeah, the first one is the controls is just crazy. And during that time, I was 360 heavy. I used to tease people for having a PS3. And then like I always said, I came back home, and the first experience I had with the PS3 was actually PlayStation Home. And I was like, wow, okay, now I see I gotta pay online to play Call of Duty. What? But yeah, I never played the first one. I'm going to go and play the first one. Well, wow, why 3 is now your favorite over 2?
So it's so weird because, like I said, I always was like 2 was the game, and then the set pieces in 3 are just another level. Like when you're like, I love the London level. That's sick.
Okay.
The plane, like that plane sequence.
That plane sequence is crazy.
It's just thing. And by that time, Naughty Dog was much better with their shooting mechanics. Because number 1 was them really learning the ropes. Remember, they were doing Jack and Daxter and thing there. Number 2 was them really kind of flexing their muscles with their set pieces. And then when you play them back to back, you can actually realize that, like they learn a lot. And I feel the reason why most people prefer 2 to 3 is 2 being that first experience just blows your mind. And you're like, nothing can beat this. And then when you play 3, you're like, oh, it's just a little bit better. But when you play them back to back, you're like, okay, I get it now. But they're both incredible.
I'm gonna have to do that this year.
And I think 2 and 3 are both better than 4 as well.
Yeah, 4. I
like 4.
4, I do like 4. The attention to detail. It's just I didn't like the darkness, like the dark setting with 4. I just feel like Neil Druckmann to me is just better suited for The Last of Us and not for Uncharted. So still a great game. It's just that I didn't like how it turned into this dark, and I felt like that theme was very overrun during that time anyway, because of the Dark Knight and stuff like that. So yeah,
I also feel like there wasn't enough set pieces. They did 2 huge set pieces and they were super over marketed. Like, could you imagine playing that bike sequence if it wasn't shown every 10 seconds? Like, if you never seen that and you played it, like people who don't work in the industry playing that for the first time, that must have blown their mind. But I felt like they rinsed it so much. And then the clock sequence was cool, but it weren't the plane. It weren't the train. Like it
wasn't the train. Yeah, they didn't really have. Yeah, I really can't pick apart. That's why Lost Legacy, I feel like, picked it back up.
Yeah.
With the tone of the franchise, and I feel like I was actually treasure hunting.
Yeah.
So, I definitely get that too.
All right, let's talk Ghosts. Now, I always say Ghost of Tsushima is the best Assassin's Creed ever made. Like, it's literally the best Assassin's Creed. Like, I don't know why Ubisoft have been ramping and didn't do this, but like that game is just so special. Like, so special. Like, I can't believe how they just did everything right. And even down to like just like the wind. That the wind is one of the smartest mechanics. Like, I love The Witcher Wild Hunt, one of my favorite Western RPGs. But when I'm riding on a horse, all I'm doing is looking at the map. I'm not looking at this beautiful scenery.
Yeah, a lot of people say about the source of direction is like
off. that like just being able to have the wind direct me. And then, do you remember Tenshu?
Yes.
So Tenshu Stealth Assassin was my game. That was my game. Like going off the roofs and just getting my ninja.
I can't do stuff. I can't do them.
That was my game. So to be able to, because that's how I played Ghost. I didn't play Ghost as a samurai because I more watched
You was a ninja.
ninja films, yeah. So I didn't grow up watching samurai films.
See, I grew up watching samurai films, so I was a Kurosawa like fan. So yeah.
So you was going to the front. I was taking bare people in the back of their neck, jumping off roofs, dashing bombs and stuff like that. But it's when we think about like Uncharted, and we think about Ghost of Tsushima, and we think of Horizon, and we think of The Last of Us, Sony's done something really incredible by really blood clot, by really creating a dope kind of culture of what their games is. Red, we're running out of time because we're a short form podcast, but before we go, I really want to talk about your work in esports. Can you tell us a bit about why it is that you love esports and kind of what you've been doing in the space?
Oh, for sure. Like when it comes to esports, you know, the FGC is what got me full front into the esports. I always watch fighting. I love fighting games. I love playing them. I love playing them in the arcades. When I got a chance when I was little, pizza shop days to Coney Island. But I feel like the FGC, the fighting game community, for all those that don't know, is the heart of esports. It's the most culturalistic type one in esports. The hype, the way everything is done is just so like community based. It's not so, I won't say structured because there is structure to it, but it's just so, I guess, favorable and you can relate to it. You know, a lot of the FGC is Black and Hispanic that have raised the culture. And of course, we see players from other countries as well. But how I got into covering esports was through a friend of named Triforce, who has Empire Arcadia. Empire Arcadia is actually the most winning esports team in history and still is. It's a Black-owned esports company. And I got my chance to cover more and see the tournaments and be like right there dead smack in, and you get to learn so much about it, the ins and outs and the players and their stories and where they come from. And it's always like an underdog story from every player. Even if they're a top player, it's always like an underdog story. And it's so relatable, you know, being from the hood, inner city, wherever you want to call it, and then making your way out through video games is an incredible story for a lot of us, period. Video games have saved a lot of our lives with that. So I love hearing those stories. And I love that the representation is being put forth further. I just feel like a lot of the tournament runners are Black men, you know, and a lot of them don't even get their shine. So I just want to see more of us being represented, more Black women, of course, being in the space of esports, which there are a lot of us too. Shouts out to Cuddlecore, my sis Cuddlecore, she won recently. But yeah, that's how I got into it, and it's so relatable. And I just love always seeing a fighting game tournament. You never know what's about to happen because their top player might get defeated by someone that was in loser's pool. You know, so I just love that hype and that atmosphere, and that's what got me really into esports and even wanting to cover other forms of esports too. Since I played fighters, since I played shooters, and other forms as well.
So the FGC is fully the backbone of esports. You're 100%.
I feel so. They are the
backbone. What's really heartbreaking is like the FGC is the most diverse space and it's the least funded esports.
Yes, it is.
Thing. Like the money that the FGC get is pittance compared to when you look at
League of Legends
and stuff like that. And the FGC is the only place where that when I first started working in gaming, when I decided this is going to be my career, when I used to go to places, I would be spot the Black person. Like I would hardly see anyone, especially if I go to an esports event. But when I went to FGC tournaments, it felt like home. I was
Felt
seeing
like
all the
home.
man. I was seeing all the man there from the hood. Like even even if I didn't know people, I knew them because we had the same struggle, we had the same stories. So
Yeah.
I really hope that these companies really start digging into the pockets, because there's a reason why Mortal Kombats and Street Fighters and Tekkens and stuff are so popular, and we are those reasons. So they
They are
need to
those
start.
reasons. A lot of those from across seas come to us to help them with their different things. I've seen that countless of times in fighting game houses. That it's the guys from the hood, the Black and Hispanic guys, that's teaching guys from Asia, different moves and different sets on what to do. So yes, the representation definitely needs to be there as far as money.
100%.
These men and women need to be getting paid more, need to have better contracts and
these
everything.
companies just need to start digging in their pocket. As simple as that. Red, thank you so much for joining me. Like, we've gone over time. We was meant to cap at 20. We're at 25 minutes, but I weren't rushing it. I've been wanting you on the podcast for so long. Once again, you're incredible. Everything you're doing, keep doing everything. Like, make sure everyone go and check out Red stuff, go and check out Hidden Code, like everything that she's got going on. If you want to send the people to one specific place to check out all the amazing content that you're doing, where you sending them?
I mean, you can go to youtube.com/REDInFamy. I'm REDInFamy across all boards, period. And then geekgametyte.com will be up soon for more content across the board.
You heard, go and check it out. Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. You are the MVP. Now, remember, if you're listening to us on any of those podcast services, give us those 5-star ratings. Come over to the YouTube, give it a thumbs up. I've been Mr. Midas. She's been Red. You've been amazing. We out of here. Peace.